Well, Frank's going to make a move on this one. It's gone. Home run Clemente. And the Pirates 2, the Orioles nothing.
Here's Lemieux. The center penalty coming up. Look at the mill. Oh my goodness. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh baby.
Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate you watching our shows and liking our Facebook page. We now have 6,871 likes. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. And I have some promos here. We may need our man Jack again. We'll start out with, if he can pull this up, with Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our TV show. There we go. 412-831-1900 Hillcrest Shopping Center. They provide us a delicious extra large pizza with pepperoni, sausage, and bacon, and a steak hoagie. So we eat well in the neighborhood here, thanks to Frank Fanero, the owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Next up, Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you, from $100 to $5,000 for your group in Bethel Park that's doing great things and need money. Go to www.bpcf.org and get an application. I'm a trustee on the board. Bring your case to us and we'll listen to you on why you need money in Bethel Park. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Got a brand new $140,000 roof. They put new windows in there. They have businesses there. They have different events there. They got the old bell from Bethel Park High School that's traditional, over 100 years old. They got it back up on their roof and the cupola up there on the roof. So it's all been repainted back to the original colors. It's there. My favorite tea place in Bethel Park, Reginald's Coffee. They have a roaster for your coffee. They roast fresh coffee every day. They have Orem's Donuts that I heard are pretty famous and good. So Smoking Jim may have to come out and try one. They have that. They have other treats and things up there. They got great coffee, and they have my loose leaf green tea. Next up is the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Poor Joey Fabus died before his 10th birthday because of the complications of DIPG brain cancer. His family has raised over $100,000 to give to doctors to find a cure. So you can go there, donate as little as $1, donate your time, see all the activities and events that they do in the area to raise money. Just check it out. Thank you. Next up, Dave Cable would like to have a little fun at my expense. He created this talking machine face on Uncle Sam. Tell them Uncle Al sent you to BPTV. Call 412-831-3304. Tell them you want to operate audio and video like Jack is doing tonight and adjust cameras so we can look great on this show. And just check that out. Give them a call and say you want to work for BPTV. You can be a volunteer on location and in the studio and other events throughout Bethel Park through the whole year. Check it out. 412-831-3304. Next up, we have a sponsor for our show with What's on Our Mind. First, how do you like Jono's great painting of Three Rivers Stadium, where all those championships that we saw over the years, all of us, including Smoking Jim, no matter what age he is, he saw those shows too. One other quick word, I wanted to give a comment about, if you get a close-up on me for a second, Jack. I don't know if you can adjust the camera. There we go. Got this new haircut. It was getting a little unwieldy, but Marianne tightened it up.
Looks good.
And I just was there today, saw the owner, Emilio. He just loves seeing me. They asked how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I told him I'm at 110% after my kidney transplant. So thank you for all the good wishes and prayers. They're all coming through and giving me great energy.
You look very aerodynamic as well.
I told her, I'm getting a little, my dad's hair used to stick out on his side, and she goes to me, I don't know what happened to your hair. The last couple of years, it's going straight out.
we can
I
start-
said, shorten it up, tighten that
We'll
up.
start calling you Saul.
Yeah, little Saul. But we got that tightened up. But you got to check out Azazu. I know Kim Gable, a friend of mine, goes there, and many other people go there for their haircuts, and they do all kind. They have spa services, and you name it. They even have green tea there. So once in a while, I've had a cup of green tea.
Nice.
So, and then our sponsor of What's on Your Mind is Skeets Service Station, owned by Skeets Lewandowski of Finleyville. It's about less than 7 miles away from here, red, white, and blue station, 6103 Route 88, Finleyville. You can give them a call, 724-348-4715. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. Weed whackers, cars, trucks, boats, you name it, runs on gas. They have a forge. They have a drive shaft company that makes axles for cars and trucks. You name it, they do it there. It's an all-stop shopping center for your cars and trucks and any type of vehicle that you have. Even we haven't had it right now. Snow blowers, they'll help you with that. Gas-run snow blowers too. Wow. Cold weather's coming this weekend, so you know Pittsburgh. 74 degrees to 20 degrees, sometimes in one day. That's how the weather goes. We're going to start our show with What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim. Zach is in the house.
Zach's in the house. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine.
Hey, that was a better pass than Lamar Jackson threw on Saturday.
But hey, we ain't gonna mention no names because they asked us to keep it under our hats.
What?
But one of the things that I need you to do, Al, as our official CEO and lead salesperson, is I need a few more addresses in Monroeville. So there's a gym that's going to open up soon in Monroeville. And how I usually do it when I recruit for Gateway is say the address of the new gym is 130 Long Avenue. And then it'll be Suite 122, Suite 147, Suite 148. So I'm going to need about 5 suites in there.
I can't help you.
I need you. I need
I
you to
can't
work
help
on
you.
that.
Let me just answer
I
your
got
question.
Zach going in next year, brother.
I
Suite
can't help you
122.
because Zach is still questioning. Zach has one question for you. When are you going to own a dog officially?
Now, my
Because you're
question.
not a dog owner.
What-
He's right here.
What's my one question is there going to be a KFC in that gym?
Hold it. I'll give you a little update. There will be a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken if Smoking Jim is there because he doesn't eat it, but he brings one in all the time.
I've been studying up on the casino. I was just at the casino, and I'll be going back.
What did you
after the
donate?
show.
What did you donate?
But I took a beating this weekend on.
What a surprise if you're going to
Baltimore
bet.
Ravens. But I
Do the
came-
opposite.
I came back strong. I came back strong on the Kansas City Chiefs, and it took everything I had last night not to put money on Clemson.
Nice.
So it was a good idea. So I saved money, but I got West
Sometimes
Virginia.
the best bet is no bet.
I put a lot of money on West Virginia tonight to beat TCU.
That's my son's favorite team. And this
TCU?
year- no, West
West
Virginia.
Virginia.
Jamie's going to
West
do him.
Virginia's
Jamie's
going
going to
well
put it
this
on
year.
him tonight.
Oh, well, I hope not. 'cause I need the
Jamie,
money.
it's going to be just like the old
I
days.
need the money, man. But hey, what's on my mind is how about the kid that looks like the guy from Home Alone, Joe Burrow.
He's a lot bigger.
Well, don't he look like him in the face? I kept saying, who does he look like? The kid from Home Alone. But I tell you what, here's I just
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, don't he?
No.
I'm just doing a quick scouting. Where are you
White
white
guys
looking
looking
a quick
Race
scouting.
card came out early, folks.
Quick scouting report on the kid. 6'4", 215 pounds. Through this year for NCAA record, 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns in 15 games. That's
New
4
record for
touchdowns a game.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Ain't that something? That's
That
incredible.
even beats the professional record.
Does it?
Yes.
Wow, even beat the NFL
And that's in
record.
16 games.
Wow. And his kid backed up J.T. Barrett at Ohio State,
And left.
who's on the Steelers practice roster, and he was going to back up Dwayne Haskins because Urban Meyer never played a white quarterback in the 7 years that he went to Ohio State, even though Joe Burrows is 6'4", very athletic, was first team in high school in Ohio.
How about the speed
in
he has?
football, he was first team point guard in basketball, super athlete. But the kid graduated in 3 years with a 4-year degree, so he was able to transfer to LSU and play right away. He was a 2-year starter and everything. I couldn't have been happier for him. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to probably have to face him because if Cincinnati Bengals
They'll
are
get him.
smart, they would draft him. And if the Steelers are smart, they would counter with the Duck. 2 young quarterbacks
Duck is gone.
going at
I hate to tell you. Duck packed his bags.
But back by popular demand is my weekly top 10. And this week, my top 10 is coaches who should be in the Hall of Fame. I disagree with Jimmy Johnson going in. I don't think Jimmy Johnson deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, and I can talk about that later if you want. But
Yes, I
the
wanna
coaches who deserve to
I
go in
wanna
the
hear.
watered down Hall of Fame now, 10D, Jeff Fisher. How about 10C, Brian Billick?
So there's 13.
How
it's
about
15.
10B, guy with 2 Super Bowl rings, and I think he's somewhat Hispanic, is Tom Flores. How about 10, George Seifert, still not in the Hall of Fame. How come Dan Reeves is not in
Didn't
at
he
number
win
9?
with Bill Walsh's player?
Who, George Seifert? Oh, definitely.
Okay.
And he didn't
why.
have him at Carolina. That's why he couldn't win there. How about
Good
number
point.
number 8, Mike Holmgren? How about Tom Coughlin? He should be in, even though he's recently fired. How
With
about
good reason.
number 6B, Air Coryell?
Love
How about
him.
number 6, Mike Shanahan should be in there. How about number 5, Jim Mora? Should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. How about number 4, Dick Vermeil? Number 3 may be a little bit before your time.
No, I know who he is, and he has no business being in the
Buddy
Hall of Fame.
Parker?
Correct.
3 world championships at Detroit, but he has no business being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You got to
What do you
rethink
do in
that.
Pittsburgh? What do you
Gotta
do in
rethink-
Pittsburgh?
We got to
Failed
rethink
miserably.
that. He had them winning more games than they ever did in their franchise history up until that point.
Hey, didn't he drink with Art Rooney?
I know he drank with his quarterback,
Bobby Lane,
Bobby Lane.
Ernie Stoutner.
And how did Detroit do after they left? 60 years, they still no championship. How about number 2, Ground Chuck Knox, right up here from Sewickley, PA, where Dale, our buddy Dale, is from.
In the background of Sewickley.
Yeah, Missy's husband.
Yeah.
And how about number 1B? Denny Green is number 1.
You know who they are.
Marty Schottenheimer should be in. And that's what's
On your
by
mind.
popular demand. Smoking Jim's top 10. First and 10 was
Tell me
Smoking
one
Jim.
person that asked you to post that.
Oh my goodness.
Tell me
I
one.
tell you what.
Tell me one.
I don't want to reveal any names without their permission, but I tell you what, I get beat up, man.
that don't mean they wanted
And now
you
the
to
healthy
post it.
relationship questions will start coming out Wednesday because the women are beating me up for that.
Well, they should, because you're usually the opposite of what they say. Unbelievable. Thank you, Smoking Jim. Chip Hainer, I don't know how you can follow that, but what's on your mind?
Very, very easily. And you know, and to give my nod to Jim's list, maybe 2 or 3 of those coaches have an outside chance. But, you know, I personally didn't feel that Bill Cowher was worthy of being
Me
into the
neither.
Hall of Fame. And I definitely don't think that
Boy,
Jimmy
was you
Johnson
wrong.
was. And I also didn't feel that Tony Dungy was warranted
Thank
of
you.
being in the
Thank
Hall of
you.
Fame.
He opened the door,
But
didn't he?
he opened the door because by guaranteeing Bill Cowher as a Hall of Famer, Mike Tomlin is a shoo-in. He's got a better record. But okay, so what's on my mind?
Except in the playoffs.
What's on my mind? Big doings, big goings on in Major League Baseball. A cheating scandal has broken. Punishments have been handed down. And, you know, so here the Houston Astros 2017 World Series champions in the season that they won the championship. They were cheating. They were stealing signals from the other teams, which gave them an unfair advantage. And so the manager and the general manager of the Houston the Houston Asterix. Okay, they're no longer the Astros because an asterisk is going next to that World Series championship. And there's another team that will get one too, but we'll get to that. They started a cheating scandal, which they had the ability to steal the signals from the catcher as he was delivering them to the pitcher, and they were then relayed to the batters in the batter's box by a coach in the dugout, the bench coach, Alex Cora, who is now the manager of the Boston Red Sox, and we'll get to him. So that the players knew whether the pitcher was throwing a fastball or an off-speed pitch, which does absolutely give them an unfair advantage. Now, I do understand the batters still had to put the bat on the ball. And as Ted Williams once said, the hardest single feat to do in professional sports is to hit a round ball with a round bat squarely. And, but that all being said, so the evidence was presented. It's irrefutable. They were suspended for 1 year by the commissioner of baseball. And the Houston Asterix were fined $5 million. And I thought to myself, well, that's pretty steep fine. And then the more I thought about this, and I'm like, wait a minute, $5 million, why isn't it $50 million? Alan thinks it should be double that.
Yeah.
But the only reason why that fine is $5 million is that is the highest fine allowable.
Yeah.
And to suspend them for 1 year, I felt was a joke because I don't feel that suspension was good enough for them. I'm thinking lifetime banishment. When we caught people cheating in 1919, cheating in the World Series, there are players that still cannot get into the Hall of Fame 102 years later. Okay, so their precedent has been set. But I give my props to the owner of the Houston Asterix. He fired the manager. He fired the general manager. It's not good enough that they're suspended for a year. He went ahead and fired him. Now, Alex Cora, let's talk about him because he was the architect of the cheating scandal. He's the one that made it all happen. Then he went to the Boston Red Sox and took his bag of dirty tricks with him. And he helped the Boston Red Sox win 108 games in 2018. Not only did they win 108 games, they went on to win the World Series championship, and they were cheating. Now, here's what the thing is about this. They have not yet announced the punishment for Alex Cora. I think anything less than a lifetime ban would be a joke. So the Red Sox are going to be looking for a new manager, and this just goes to speak to a culture that existed. Now, not that I will ever feel sorry for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but the Los Angeles Dodgers lost 2 World Series to 2 teams that were cheating against them. And what has Major League Baseball said after the punishment dealt out yesterday? None of the teams are allowed to comment about the situation. Wow. They have been forbidden by the Commissioner of Baseball. So, I think this is a really big deal. It goes to the integrity of the game. I think the punishment should be severe and long-lasting. And then, of course, because a controversy came out in baseball and people have to be punished, the cockroach named Pete Rose came slithering out from underneath whatever rock he hides under, and it says, well, geez, what I did wasn't nearly as bad. You know what? True. Pete Rose needs to shut up and go away because Pete Rose broke the cardinal rule. Rule 21, paragraph D. Read it, and it's pretty black and white. And besides that, he agreed to a lifetime ban. So, Pete, sorry, you'll never get in the Hall of Fame. You never should be in the Hall of Fame. You're not worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. But that's what's on my mind.
You're wrong.
Wow.
Can I say one thing before we
Please,
go?
say what you
2
like.
things.
2 things.
Yeah,
One,
go ahead.
are they stripping them of their World Series?
Not at this time.
No, they are not. And as far as I know, the players are not going to be disciplined either. And I have a problem with that as well because they are just as culpable as the manager, the general manager, and the man that instituted the cheating scheme.
Now I'm going to slam you pretty good.
Good.
All right. Now you say Pete Rose has a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball.
That he agreed to.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, now here's another question. Isn't the
This is your third point.
Isn't the Baseball Hall of Fame separate from Major League Baseball? Baseball Hall of Fame's a museum, so Pete Rose should be able to go into the Hall of Fame
If he buys a
cannot-
ticket.
No, but see, there you go. You just missed the point. The Hall of Fame is separate from Major League
That's
Baseball.
why he needs to buy a ticket.
That's why he needs to buy a ticket.
Why isn't he?
Because
Being-
you're not a member
Because
of it.
he agreed.
He can be a member.
No, you're not. You got to buy a ticket to go in.
No, the Major League Baseball is separate from the museum.
but
Well,
he
using your
agreed
theory.
to a lifetime
No, it's
ban.
the truth.
No,
It's the
using
Major
your-
League Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. It's the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
But it's separate from Major League Baseball.
is part of
studied
Major
it.
League
I've been studying up on this.
You must have read
I
the
got my
wrong book.
PhD
You know
on
what?
the Major League.
Show me it in writing and show me that you read it.
Okay.
And I got something for you. It dawned on me how you asked if you could edit one of our videos. You went to class and learned nothing,
I forgot everything I learned.
and it wasn't CTE. It was just smoking Jim Frazier at his best. So since you can't edit anything and went to school for it, what does it even mean if you got a PhD in something you read? That's what I have for you. Now, are you done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I made my point.
Thanks, Chip.
And it really wasn't much of a point because I've been slammed before. That wasn't even close.
But it's separate from Major League Baseball, so it
It is
shouldn't have
part of
nothing to
Major
do
League
with
Baseball.
it.
It
No,
is
it's
part-
not. It's totally separate.
No, it's
It's
not.
like my house and your house. It's totally separate.
We don't even know where your house is, so we can't even talk about that.
Zach won't know when he moves the
He
gateway.
ain't moving there. He still wants to know. The one question he has is, are you a dog owner for
Co-owner.
yourself? No.
Co-owner.
The co-owner, we even asked an expert on that, Jennifer, and she gave you an answer and said, no, you're not. And then you invited her to be on your show.
She did a great job, too. What a nice looking lady.
I'm glad I introduced you.
Thanks to you.
You're welcome, my
I
friend.
meet a lot of great people through you.
Thank you, buddy. Well, let's thank Chip and we'll move on. I forget what's on my mind. Except I was watching championship football after our show last night. Had a great show. And I was surprised by the game because Clemson's winning. And I like Clemson. I like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a #1 pick when he comes up to the draft. Great quarterback. Then I see a guy who I really like because of his story, leaving Ohio State and then becoming a Heisman Trophy winner, throwing the football all over the place, and then he's a fast white guy.
Yes.
And I got to mention white because Smoking Jim throws the black card out so many times. We all know who he's talking about. And he mentioned about Burrows looking like a Home Alone kid, but no, he don't. He's too big for that. He's still small. But the passes he threw and the runs that he made were unbelievable. Although Chip and I discussed a little before you got here, some of the calls on the field that they missed, the referees could have changed, as I always say, the complexion of the game. And it really would have, but it was just amazing. It was just meant to be. It was a great game. I watched it. I was happy to see LSU win.
You know, and that was one of those kind of games where, you know, I had no skin in that game. And, you know,
I didn't bet it.
Either
I
team
knew better than to bet that game.
I know better than to never bet. But, I mean, you know, either team would have won. It would have made no difference to me one way or another. And you got to take your hat off to the LSU Tigers. They outplayed the Clemson Tigers last night.
Yes.
And
The Tigers won, Smoking Jim.
Congratulations. But how is it that a guy who won a Heisman Trophy, and he won the national champion last night and lost? See, I've got crickets over here.
Yeah.
You know how he lost? He's getting sentenced to Cincinnati.
And look what they did to the Red Rifle, who Smoking Jim loves to this day.
200 career touchdown passes.
And that's what's
Cincinnati
gonna-
record.
That's what's going to happen.
And you know who he's going to
poor
be backing
Joe.
up next year?
No,
Tom Brady
where at?
in New England.
I wouldn't mind that.
Wow.
So I think Tom Brady will no question be back in New England because Josh McDaniels is coming back.
Well, look, I made that statement before the end of the
If
season.
Josh
Yeah.
McDaniels would have gone,
I said I might agree with
Brady
you
wouldn't have
that
been back.
if Josh was gone, he might be gone. But like I had said before, I thought he'd be back.
but you know what? Belichick pulled his dirty tricks. He would not allow Josh McDaniels to go and interview with the teams that wanted him. First with Carolina, he made them put them off until after they interviewed somebody else. Did the same thing with the Giants. Oh, but he gave his wide receivers coach permission to interview with the Giants, but he didn't give Josh McDaniels. And then he made Josh wait until Friday to interview with the Cleveland Browns.
Offensive coordinator is a big difference from your receiver coach who didn't coach up the receivers.
But the wide receivers coach, who had one of the worst wide receiver sets in football, is now the head coach of the Giants.
Yeah.
Figured that one out.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. And thanks for focusing on Smokin' Jim and Chip.
I've shown an interest in making home movies. Me and some buddies would just grab a camera and you just start making these videos, and then you realize at some point that this isn't just a hobby anymore, it's something that you actually want to pursue, and there's this great facility right down the road, BPTV. A lot of people will try to do these productions on their own, and one of the things they don't have is the equipment, you know, but right here is everything she needs in one nice little bundle. There's lights, cameras, reflectors, dollies, all kinds of little knickknacks, like anything that you'd want to use that you would need for a production, you have it right here, like it's all right here. You can make your own feature movie just with the stuff from this studio. Come meet Dave Cable, let him show you around, and I think you'll realize that this is something that you could fall into regardless of your level of expertise, whether you're a beginner or even if you're a more advanced learner. There's something here for everyone, and I feel that you just need to come through and just be a part of the experience and just watch and learn, and you know, let Dave be your guide.
One of the things we do at BPTV is encourage our producers to film on location. Not only does shooting on location give our producers the opportunity to take advantage of their subject matter, filming in different locations gives each program its own distinct flavor. This also helps anyone who's flipping through the channels avoid confusion when they turn on BPTV. With around 500 programs produced at BPTV each year, the last thing we want people to think is that we're only broadcasting one program. So, you need to come into BPTV to pitch your TV show, but in terms of where you actually end up taping your show, the sky's the limit.
I was dying when you said that. Welcome back. This is Smokin' Jim's Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and Chip Hayner. But I tell you what, before we move on,
Go ahead.
you know, everybody knows I hate all levels of discrimination. And that's why I did a thing a few weeks ago about reverse discrimination.
I remember that.
And Joe Burrows is living proof of reverse discrimination, is alive and well at Ohio State University. Urban Meyer were there 7 years, never had a white quarterback, never would have had a white quarterback. Here you got maybe he's sitting behind a quarterback that's on a practice squad of the Pittsburgh Steelers that they just brought in the last couple of days of the season to run around like a chicken with his head cut off. But that's why I fight against all levels of discrimination. Joe Burrows, I'm glad he had the guts to transfer, and the rest will be history for that young man. Comes from a football family. But fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier for my friend Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher finally made it into the NFL Hall of Fame, and I'll just go back to how it all started with me and Coach Cowher. I used to send my draft reports to General Manager Tom Donahoe every year, and Tom Donahoe was really the first one to send me back a donation. He used to send me a donation every year with a handwritten note, was very professional. And he also gave me his personal number to give him a call if I see Eric Green and Yancey Thigpen and any of them out after hours.
Oh, I saw them in more places than one.
But the year 2000, Coach Donahoe invited me to help them with the draft. Just so happens that shortly before the draft, Coach Donahoe was fired, and they hired Kevin Colbert, but the Steelers still honored it. It was the last year of Three Rivers Stadium that they had their facilities in Three Rivers still. They hadn't blown up the stadium yet. I was doing a radio show that morning every Saturday with Eddie Jeffries on Whammo.
You told me that.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I had to hustle.
Legendary.
So I was running late to get to the draft because I didn't want to miss my radio show. And I tell you what, they had the rudest, meanest, older white security guards you ever wanted to see at Three Rivers Stadium. And everything was by the book, man. I had a hard time getting in. And finally I get in, I get back to where they're holding the draft. I don't know my way around inside, even though I was a season ticket holder at Three Rivers on the outside, but inside the facilities. I get back there, and the first person I see is Coach Cowher. He got one of his legendary sweaters on, and first thing I say is, man, Coach Cowher is better looking than I thought he was, right? And we got to talking, and then it was right in the midst of the scandals where Coach Cowher was supposed to run around with all these women.
Yeah, or
Man,
one.
or one. Man, they had the best looking interns running around, cutest ever seen. I said the rumors are true. But one thing about Coach Cowher over the years, the thing that he taught me is it's no surprise that Coach Cowher had 8 head coaches on his staff that went on to be head coaches in the National Football League, because he was so organized. He had a notebook with at least 100 names per position: receivers coach, running back coach, and this and that. And that's the one thing that separates him from Coach Tomlin. Coach Tomlin has 0 coaches on his staff that could be a head coach or a coordinator that's even being sought after. Another difference, now Coach Cowher was stubborn. Like Coach Tomlin, they share that. Coach Cowher had no business.
And time management they share.
Well, Coach Cowher had no business getting rid of Ron Earhart as an offensive coordinator, even though he wanted to promote Chan Gailey. That started the whole business. He should have promoted Ron Earhart to assistant head coach. He felt like Chan Gailey was going to leave, but his arrogance wouldn't allow him to do that. And I think that's why you see some of the Steeler problems after Chan Gailey left, because they were great under Chan Gailey. But in terms of a guy that really made a difference in the National Football League, like I said, Jimmy Johnson only had 80 victories. I don't think he should have been in the Hall of Fame. And for real, I think the Hall of Fame is for players and elite coaches in ownership. Coach Cowher wouldn't fall into that group, but when you put Tony Dungy in, who had no business getting in the Hall of Fame, that opened the door for so many other coaches, and it's going to water down the Hall of Fame. But hey, I'm happy for Bill Cowher. He got in. I think TV helped it out a lot too.
Yeah.
And he also made a difference in the National Football League, because he's the only Pittsburgh Steelers coach to this day to win NFL Head Coach of the Year award, not once, but in my book twice.
Your book.
And
But
that's,
but your book nobody reads because you don't read it either.
You don't even write it.
and no coach will ever win that again.
And I just want
Stiller
to, you know, and I think that Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher both got into the Hall of Fame based on their work
TV.
at CBS and Fox more so than they did
Makes sense.
as coach. Because you know the funny thing,
And he has nice hair.
the people that don't remember,
Yeah.
Chuck Noll, greatest coach in Steelers history. You would have everybody would agree to that. People could not wait to run him out of town. And if you remember the last half dozen years he was a coach, all anybody wanted to do is Noel's got to go. Noel's got to go.
Yeah.
And all anybody ever wanted to do with Bill Cowher is they wanted him gone because they weren't happy with the way he went to 6 AFC championship games and won 2 of them and only won 1 title. Okay.
I think his playoff record's 21-12. Tomlin has a playoff record of 8-7.
So, you know, be that as it may, couldn't wait to get it now. Tomlin's getting the Hall of Fame. Everybody's like, bring him back. You couldn't get him out the door fast enough. Okay, so it's funny how time changes. But
And people's attitudes.
I don't remember that.
and one last thing,
You got
Urban
CTE.
Myers is not have a racist hair in his body because Jim forgot to tell you about the whitest quarterback he ever had.
Tebow
Yes.
wasn't at Ohio State.
That, but it was still, you know, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. Did he win 1 or 2 of them? He won just
Well,
one.
just one. Should have won
Back-to-back
I thought he should have won
championships.
3, but
Okay.
That's you.
he wouldn't vote for himself. He
Okay.
could vote after his sophomore year. He could vote. He wouldn't vote for himself.
Nice guy. Too religious for the NFL, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Smoking Jim.
All righty.
All right, we got Smoking Jim covered. They're in there listening. They got it.
They're on top of it. Hey guys, just wanted
Just
to
get Smoking
touch
Jim
base
out
with
of the
you, and
picture.
you know, on
Change
my
that
mind,
camera.
totally worked up about this Major League Baseball thing. But you know what's been on my mind last
him
week
out
and
of
this
there.
week is
Thanks,
the Hall of Fame. Okay, not only am I talking about the Baseball Hall of Fame, but I'm talking about the Football Hall of Fame. And on Saturday, I texted my friend Jim, but he didn't respond. Alan did when they surprised Bill Cowher. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They caught him completely by surprise.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to Jimmy Johnson on Sunday night, you know, during the telecast. So that was great. So now, you know, going into the Hall of Fame this year, there's going to be 20 people inducted into the Hall of Fame. There's going to be 2 coaches, 3 contributors, 10 from the seniors committee, and then there's going to be 5 selected from the 15 finalists that are coming up. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., the 10 senior committee players will be announced, as well as the 3 contributors. And I think what we could use, Dave Cable, if you're listening, have Sam watch that Good Morning Football, 7 a.m. tomorrow. They're announcing the Hall of Fame inductees.
Sam's watching
so
us. He's
Sam,
on it.
I'm with you, buddy. I need your help here. So that being said, now to speak about the Baseball Hall of Fame, next Tuesday, January 24th, the inductees for the Hall of Fame for the 2020 class of the Baseball Hall of Fame will be announced. And there are some returning players who are getting close to ending their time on the
list.
on the list. And the way it works is candidates from the 2019 ballot who receive at least 5% of the vote but were not elected, as long as they appeared on the ballot no earlier than 2010. There are 14 players. Larry Walker, who is in his 10th and final year, is somebody that is being considered. There's a push to get him into the Hall of Fame. Some people say that his statistics are tainted not because of PEDs, but because of the thin air in Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think that should be a determining factor, but we'll see what happens. Other people who will be up for their 8th consideration will be Curt Schilling, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds, who didn't gain much traction last year.
Tainted.
And I don't think that they're going to. But they have this year and one more year, and then they will go on to the seniors committee. Also being considered for the Hall of Fame this year, coming back For his third time, Omar Vizquel. Manny Ramirez, another PED person, 4th year. Jeff Kent in his 7th year. Scott Rowland in his 3rd year. Billy Wagner in his 5th year. Todd Helton in his 2nd year, who I think may have an outside chance. I don't think he's getting in this year. Gary Sheffield, Andy Pettit, Sammy Sosa, the man that changed colors for us. And I'm sorry if that's inappropriate. I apologize. Andrew Jones is in his 3rd year. And a bunch of first-timers of one I believed that he would have been the very first unanimous selection, but he's definitely going in first ballot this year, and we'll get to him. But we have Bobby Abreu, Josh Beckett, Heath Bell, Eric Chavez, Adam Dunn, Chone Figgins, Rafael Furcal, Jason Giambi, Raul Ibanez, Paul Konerko, Cliff Lee, Carlos Pena, Brad Penny, J.J. Putz, Brian Roberts, Alfonso Soriano, and Jose Valverde. None of them are getting in. The one that will, without any question of a doubt, is captain of the Yankees, Derek Jeter. He's the first player in Major League Baseball history to play for the New York Yankees, to play his entire career with the Yankees and get 3,000 hits as a Yankee. Nobody else has done it. Not Babe Ruth, not Lou Gehrig. That is something. So it's something interesting. So we'll have the inductees. They'll be announced next Tuesday, hopefully before we go on air, and I will be sharing those with all of you. But here are some interesting things, and there is a way that this ties into this week's AFC Championship game. Oh, and you wonder how that may be, right?
Yeah.
See, I see Jim looks confused, questioning. There's a bunch of players who were not selected by the screening committee for inclusion on the ballot. Okay, so these guys aren't even under consideration. Mike Adams, Jason Bartlick, Eric Bedard, John Buck, and I'm not gonna go through the whole list. Okay, but I am going to go through a list of somebody that has ties to Pittsburgh, that played for the Pittsburgh Pirates for about a half a dozen years. Paul Maholm, who is none other than the father of Patrick Mahomes, superstar quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, his dad was not going to be considered for the Hall of Fame. And I look at one name here and I have to laugh, but there's Lyle Overpay. And I remember when he played for the Pirates, how people would chant overpaid. But we've got Hall of Fame announcements coming up. Now, one of the people that could be announced tomorrow morning, and I got my fingers and I got my toes crossed.
Write it down,
for him.
Smoking Jim.
None other than Donnie Shell of the 1970 Pittsburgh Steelers, who should have been in a long time ago, and he is a victim of the success of that team. L.C. Greenwood, Donnie Shell, they both belong in the Hall of Fame as far as I'm concerned. But we'll get Donnie in first, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it may happen. No. Smoking Jim, you got any statements?
Well, he should be in before Troy Polamalu, so. Yeah.
Well, Troy will not be, if Troy is elected, he will not be elected until the NFL Honors Banquet the night before the Super Bowl. So 10 will be announced tomorrow from the Seniors Committee, 3 contributors. The 2 coaches have already been entered, and there'll be 5 players announced at the NFL Honors Banquet the night before Super Bowl Sunday.
Great. Thank you, Chip.
How'd I do?
Great. He didn't follow you on the baseball, sorry.
I'm learning.
Very young age, I was exposed to sports in a great way. My uncle was on the first pro basketball team in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Ironmen. And my dad, of course, that was my hero. He was a basketball referee for over 30 years. Just been a passion in my life. And as I got older, I found out about horses, and I ended up owning a stable. And I was asked to be on a sports show with Roger Houston called the Meadows Racing Network. And when we were done, I said, boy, that'd be something great. Maybe someday I could have a TV show. Back in 2011, I had a conversation with some friends about sports that piqued my interest in how could we start a sports talk show on TV. Well, I found out I could go to public access TV in Bethel Park and I'd be able to produce my own sports talk TV show. The great thing about doing 2 sports talk shows on BPTV is I can share my passion about sports with thousands of people every week. If you are passionate about something that you would like to share with the community, I encourage you to come to BPTV and produce a show like I do. I'm Al Levine, volunteer producer of Pittsburgh Sportsline on BPTV.
BPTV. Come volunteer. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be here.
BPTV. Come on in, make a show. It's still fun after all these years.
For getting in there and bat up.
They got you. All right, are we back?
Are we talking football?
No, this is on location.
All right,
we didn't get on location
all
in there.
My
They
bad.
gave the wrong commercial. I don't know what happened here. But this is live TV. I can still go with it. We had a great show on location last
sir.
night.
Yes, sir.
9:30 Brookline Boulevard, Olive Oil's Pizzeria and more. We only had 3 great guests. We had 2 cancellations, and they're both going to come back in February. So look for Jax Miller, the Player of the Year. He got an award last night at his school, so he couldn't be there. His mother, Susan, who's been on my show, texted me back, what can we do? I said, go there, have a good time, and see you February 10th. So he'll be back with us. But we had 3 great guests. Dale Steigerwald has this Chinese Kung Fu business in New Brighton, 45 minutes away. He gave the address, but it's at one end of the town there, so he said you could find it up there. He runs all kind of classes up there, does things with the police and everything, just a great guy. Looks like, you know, a brick house. He's built like a brick house.
Is he related to the Staggerwalds?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, but a great guy. And Serenity, thanks for introducing me to him and giving me his number. He was a great guest. Andy Anderson, our Muay Thai guy, MMA guy, Stout Fight Promotions guy. He gave us free media passes for the South Point Printscape Arena there. And Smoking Jim knows how to drive there. And we were on a little side trip. We saw Peters Township High School. It was utterly amazing. We pulled in the lot. I said, read that sign. He goes, how long has this school been here? I go, forever. They're building a new one down the road, thanks to Chip. So, but we didn't head down the road. And Andy's just great with how he promotes the Muay Thai fights. First Muay Thai fights, Smoking Jim and I were ever at. We'll be back.
Can't wait.
We got asked to go to a pro grappling event at the Ace Hotel in East Liberty on May 3rd, I think. So we're going to check that out. We'll make another road trip somehow, some way. We'll get there. And then Smoking Jim met the guy, Warren J. Stout, who's founded the Stout Fight Promotions, Stout Pittsburgh, Renzi Gracie, Jiu-Jitsu Gym in the Strip District, and in Cranberry. And then they're opening in a new location we can't talk about yet, but we talked about on the show. So Dave Cable edited that show so quickly, I posted it up already.
Really?
Yeah, it come out earlier today, but I had a couple get a haircut. Zazu got that in, and had to take my son to an appointment and put it up later in the day before the show started. So it's up there, Smoking Jim. I even said, watch Smokin' Jim's great opening of What's on Your Mind, sponsored by Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station, and he talks about the chin is in the HOF. Smokin' Jim was so excited on that issue alone, it made my night just hearing that. He was just off the charts, but it was great, just a great show. Glad we could do, things with people like that. Then we'll be back there February 10th, and that's Olive Oil's Pizzeria and More, 930 Brookline Boulevard, 7:30 to 8:30. Be there. Great Italian food. No Italian ice right now, but that'll come again. Then I was getting my hair done, finished up, said hi to a bunch of the people there. They like me, and they're so thankful that I'm doing well with the kidney transplant. I talked to Emilio, who runs the place. Well, he was up at the Market District last year, and he said, I had so many people stopping and asking me if I knew Al Levine because he goes to your place to get his hair cut. Wow. He goes, the Market District in Bethel Park, he goes, everybody there knew you.
Wow.
So he goes, when can I do a show with you? I go, I've been asking you for like 5 years to do a show with us. He goes, I want to be on. And he's been in the hair business probably 30 years. Just great.
Really?
He has some of the prettiest girls that cut hair that you've ever seen.
Are you serious?
So I said, how about if we do a show at your place and I'll interview you and your people and we'll talk about sports? He goes, count me in. I'm all in on that. So we're going to talk in the next couple months about doing a show at Azazu down on 5th Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. We'll have to see, Jim.
I'll bring the boss with me.
Yeah, we got that to look forward to. So that might be in April or May. And then March, Judge Arnone and I are looking at doing a kidney fundraiser, Kidney Foundation fundraiser come March. We're talking to a couple places. We haven't got confirmation yet, but that's in the books there for doing a show in Bethel Park at some place here in Bethel. So stay tuned for that. So we have some on-location shows coming up. And I'm so happy. I've been getting my hair cut at Azazu for 19 years.
Wow.
So, and I'm just friends with all of them, and they always ask about me. Just a nice atmosphere there. And it's a great place, very fancy, elite-looking place. So we'll have a great time there.
You wouldn't, I mean, you don't slum, right?
No, I'm not slumming. Thanks, Jeff.
Aren't we going to Ambridge for Black History Month?
Well, then I wanted to announce that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm saving the best for
Okay,
last.
my fault.
Then last night, we're talking to John Paneras, and he loves our show. Matter of fact, he bought 2 Pittsburgh Sportsline polos so he could have them. And he kept bugging me for the last couple months last year about doing a show. And I said, I don't know about traveling to Ambridge. How long does it take? Well, last night he said it took me 25 minutes
30 minutes
to get here. And I said, okay, what do you want to do? He goes, well, I've been trying to line up guests, and you said maybe February. I go, well, I was waiting for you to get back to me. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, can't do one the first week, second week we're here. How about the third week, the 17th of February? He goes, come up to Merchant Street where my place is. He has a tax agency that he does taxes there. He's going to pay us to do our show and film the show there. He's had other TV shows there, he said. I'll find out about that. But we'll be going to Ambridge for a little road trip in Pittsburgh Sportsline.
All right.
So look forward to that. If you're in that Ambridge area, we'll have to see some of our contacts up there and maybe see if they can come up to the show or be interviewed.
The touchdown maker.
Yeah, we'll have to see if she's still around.
Yeah, she's still around.
Okay.
She can make a guest appearance. All right, we'll be back with, we're going to, oh, is it? Well,
Yeah, we're not going to be back.
we're not going to be back. We're going to have to end this show, but we're going to talk a little bit about penguins. We got to talk penguins because I don't know if you guys heard the news. I was in and out most of the day, and I had that station called The Fan on because I don't like a lot about what they talk about because they're all about sensationalism. But one thing stuck in my mind. The legendary Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid, is coming back to play at home tonight. First time in 28 games.
Wow.
He'll be against the Minnesota team at the PPG Paints tonight.
And the Penguins are winning 2-0.
There we go. We got the update from Chip Hayner.
And if it will pull up the stats,
Let's see who did it.
yeah, I'm gonna.
Who's
find
in goal?
Okay, for the Pittsburgh
We'll see
Penguins.
what's happening, folks. This is very fluid, very
Tristan
live.
Jarry is in goal.
One of the hottest goaltenders in the league.
Sidney Crosby has an assist.
Wow.
Welcome
Evgeny
back, Sid.
Malkin and Jared McCann each have a goal.
Wow. Unbelievable. Let's go, Pens. Any parting words, Smoking Jim, with your gambling? What teams do you got tonight?
I got West Virginia over TCU. Come on, Mountaineers.
My son Drew's all about West Virginia and Huggy.
good.
He said this year they got a good team. Last year the team quit on him. He got rid of a lot of players.
I didn't
Had
know
a
that.
terrible year. My son watches WVU all the time. We used to go to the Backyard Brawl in West Virginia.
Really?
One time we were there, it was so cold at halftime.
How cold was it?
It was so cold we had hot chocolate that froze during halftime.
Wow.
You
And I
saw
said, "Do you want to go?" He goes, "No." And we stayed.
So we got the AFC NFC championships
Yes.
this weekend. How about a repeat of Super Bowl I? Kansas City and Green Bay.
Yeah.
But the team I'm going to keep an eye on. Do not be surprised
Okay.
if the Tennessee Titans go into Arrowhead and punch the Chiefs in the mouth the same way they did the Patriots, the same way they did
Nobody
the Ravens.
even counted the Tennessee Titans as winning anything.
We can't have that. We got to have at least one black quarterback at the Super Bowl, don't you think?
No. Thank you, Smoking Jim. We're going to have to end this show. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a little late start, but we're going to end on time. And I want you all to please stay Joey strong. Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.
Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
BPTV. Come volunteer. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be here.
BPTV. Come on in, make a show. It's still fun after all these years.